What's up, people? We are back with more of Sound of Drop Fall into Poison. I finally managed to say it correctly this time. But yeah, we are back again. In the previous video, I'm not entirely sure what happened, but apparently Miku, it's kind of clear from previous knowledge that she is sort of sick in a way that affected by the Manten Aquarium, in the fact that she visited and managed to escape, and something from that Manten Aquarium keeps haunting her that makes her unable to breathe and just, or at least slowly becoming unable to breathe and just being generally sick because of that. And apparently she tried to commit suicide, or at least that's a rumor going around, and the true words that might not be true or not, I don't know, but is that she was hanging out on the balcony. Don't know why she would do that, why she was sick, but she fell down or almost fell down or something along those lines. But yeah, we're back in Bar Kagaru with Sayo, I believe, so let's just continue. On Friday night, despite all of this, I go to the coffee shop. Even though I know she won't come, I feel I should keep up my end of the promise. After I wait for an hour, Minato doesn't come. After that, I head for Manten Aquarium alone, but it's a fruitless endeavor. I couldn't find the one spreading all the rumors after all. Sounds like Silky Strawberry is performing again today. Silky Strawberry, best band name ever. I sit down at the furthest edge of the bar and put my drink to my lips. After the director, my father, passed away, my mother took custody of me. My mother divorced my father when I was still young. I don't know why they did, but she probably had money issues with my business-consumed dreamer of a father. My mother lived with her parents, my grandparents. As the daughter of the man who divorced their daughter, I was seen as nothing more than a burden, and those days were lonely and sad. Not a single member of my family came the day of my junior high entrance ceremony. Aw, that's so sad. When I came home, several days worth of meals for me were in the refrigerator, and money for daily expenses, far more than a student would ever need, were left on the table. Back in those days, I hoped they still loved me, as they had paid for me to attend an expensive private school. But I got my answer. The impression I got from the neighbors was that the reason I was able to attend the private schools was because of my father's insistence. On top of the desk was a memo pad with the words, "We'll be on a trip until next week," written on it, and money just left sitting there. The car had also disappeared from the parking lot. It sounded like the parents just bailed, like, "Yeah, good luck on your own, girl. We're out of here." My school wasn't in the area, so no one knew when my entrance ceremony was. Sending me to a school so far away was the same thing as my mother putting me out of sight, out of mind. That was fine with me. I came to the conclusion that the reason my father had custody of me was because my father or mother hadn't wanted me from the start. Then, on their way home, they all died in an accident. My mother, grandparents, and also a young man that was with them. So my inheritance passed down to me. Mine? I think they mean their inheritance. There was a struggle against my relatives to see who would get custody of me. When I saw the amount of my inheritance, I realized the divorce was so that my mother's family's asset wouldn't be depleted by my father's debts. Rather than be sad, I looked to the future ahead. Using the name of some relative I didn't care for, I rented an apartment near the school I attended, and, blowing through my inheritance, began living alone. Learning the full truth did not sadden me. Instead, on the occasion of my father's passing, the feeling I had that I was always alone was reiterated for me once again. When I come back to the present, Silky Strawberry is about to perform. Before the first song finishes, I leave the club. Tonight's song resonates too heavily within my heart. On the way home, I'm reminded of when I walked to the station with Minato when I came here before. The lights of the town at night are so pretty. I realize I prefer walking alone. The moon isn't out tonight though. I remember that ridiculous rumor. Like that on the day of a full moon, the water in the tanks turned to blood, or that fish with human faces swim about, or that those who get lost in the closed down deep sea fish booth never come home. Worthless stories written on the internet. Tch. Not caring where I heard it, I clicked my tongue in the center of the road. That's like her thing, she just clicks her tongue like, it's always tch and clicking her tongue. The answer has been there from the start. The day that something would happen, that's... Several days later, I pay a visit to Manten Aquarium. I occasionally hear about Minato's condition, but there's apparently no change. Today being Sunday, the town is full of people, but Manten Aquarium is empty. Those rumors must have some influence to them. Surely after the incident with Minato, the rumors has gained even more credibility. Even without knowing the truth, somewhere, subconsciously, it must seem plausible enough. Let's go. On the day of the full moon, I am ready. Even if it means losing my life to the full moon, I will find the truth. Because there's nothing more I can lose. Oh god, I have a feeling things are about to get creepy. Before she realized it, the girl was standing before an imposing door. The girl occasionally came to Manten Aquarium alone. She watched the manta rays, she watched the jellyfish, and finally decided it was time to go home. Where is this? She had her doubts, but there should be nothing else there except for the aquarium. She assured herself that she had probably wandered off onto a side path. The door before her had a large padlock hanging from it. Just as she had heard, it was unlocked and merely dangling there. Gulp. The girl drew in a breath. Being locked would usually mean that it was a place she shouldn't enter. Being open just meant that a staff member had forgotten to lock it, so going in was out of the question. Her curiosity piqued. She was past the point of persuasion. Her imagination ran wild, and her mind raced at the prospect of what might lie beyond the door. Just for a little bit. Curiosity always kills. Okay, not always, but it's definitely not like the top cause of deaths in like movies or horror movies or horror games or whatever, but it's definitely in the top 5 or something. Just people like they're scared but they can't help but look or something along those lines. It's just, you know, curiosity of the unknown, or feeling like you might miss out if you just don't look, you know. She opened the door and saw lots of glass tanks. I'm mentally trying to prepare myself for what if one of those faces pop up again, because last time I think I pretty much screamed, but it's pretty late right now, so I don't want to wake up people by screaming really loudly, so I have to prepare myself. Several types of fish hailing from the deep seas, from football fish and oarfish to pelican eels and barrel eyes, were swimming about. Why isn't this an exhibit? She thought it over, wondering why this would be in a closed-off area. Behind her, the door shut on its own. The girl spaced out, staring at the deep-sea fish swimming about. They would leap from the tank and swim in mid-air. Oh girl, you entered somewhere you don't want to be. The entirety of the room was the fish and their ocean. Though it was an unnatural occurrence, the girl treated it as quite normal. So they're always saying this girl and she. That's how they're referring to this particular person, which we don't know if they actually mean Sayo or not. So, and depending or like if you just sort of compare or look how she's talking, it doesn't seem like Sayo, but who knows? Wasn't there originally a deep sea fish booth that was shut down? Oh god. Oh god. She suddenly remembered. At that moment, her surroundings were dyed a deep red. The water in the tanks, the fluorescent lights, all of it was red. The girl's vision also became red. When she opened her eyes, the girl was back in her own room. It was well into the night. She couldn't remember how she had gotten home after all of that. But more importantly, she had a bad feeling about something else. Did I just hear a scream in the background? What the crap? It isn't red here. She became aware of how hard it suddenly was to breathe. No matter how hard she gasped, she was unable to get oxygen into her body. Like the fish who couldn't breathe anywhere but in the water, she couldn't breathe unless she was inside that red color. She was convinced. On impulse, she threw open the window, leaned out and thrust a hand outside. She couldn't inhale the wind flooding her room. She could only smell its milky, unpleasant scent. More! At that moment, the girl's body was tossed into the air. For just a second, her body seemed to float like a fish in the sea. Her room was on the 12th floor of her apartment building. Okay, this is about Miku. Miku Minato. In her fading consciousness, the girl watched her blood flow endlessly from her body. It's red. Only then could she breathe. Now everything would be fine. The girl smiled. The full moon in the night sky smiled too. Oh my god. So that's her reasoning for doing that? What the crap? Drip, drip. Oh my god. So I guess that is the reason why Minato was, I guess, sort of like people think that she committed suicide, but she just, yeah, basically that sequence occurred. And apparently, so was this something, I'm not entirely sure if the exact same situation sort of occurred to Mayu, but it was sort of similar where they were in the, I'm not sure if it was the deep sea fish booth, but it was definitely a certain specific area in Manten Aquarium that they were exposed to. But for Miku, she actually, for some reason, she was just all the way back home. Or, yeah, I guess they sort of flashed forward between those bits. Like, she was there and then a couple of days later, because obviously in the previous two videos, the events that with talking with Sayo and all that happened in between those two moments where she was at Manten Aquarium seeing all the red, and then when she was out and then being at home sick, and then before officially being committed into the hospital. But basically her reasoning for kind of wanting to bleed is because she can only breathe in the redness, which is really weird, and I'm not entirely sure what the reasoning for that is. The sound of falling drops. The moon was concealed behind the clouds, and all of the lights in the town were covered in water. The sound of it, the only thing left to resonate. She couldn't tell whether it was hot or cold, merely that the humid air was encircling her. Oh, drip, drip. Drip, drip. Wherever they were falling to, wherever they were coming from, the drops just continued to trickle out. More drops? Oh god. That's even... I don't know why I'm being freaked out by like just single drops of water or liquid. That single drop. I stopped it with both hands. Catch it. Oh god, it's red. The sound of that solitary red drop. What? Everything is red. Oh my god. I don't know why, like, that would be, all of that would be like the perfect moment for a sudden jump scare to pop up, you know, which is something that I'm, for some reason, really, really afraid of. But I have no idea why, though. What? Or at least, there's an urban legend that goes like that. We're back with Himeno and Mayu? Talking about Manten Aquarium again? That's your new thing, isn't it? Can we actually skip this? So this is where... yeah, this is all the parts that happened before. We can skip this part again. Oh god, so this is the very first choice. So I guess that previous, or the part that we just played is sort of a prologue or something? But why is it available now and not the time when I first played the game? Maybe it became during an update or something. I didn't really pay attention to that on Steam if there was a particular update on that. But that seems to be making the most sense, because this is all, obviously the fact that I can skip this means that it is content that I've already gone through, as I mentioned, I guess in the 2 videos ago or something. But yeah, I'm not sure what the wisest thing to do is at the moment. Alright, you know what, we're just gonna start off with a clean slate in the next video, because I was expecting that to be sort of new content, which it definitely was for me, but I sort of started playing it at launch day, and that was quite a while ago, so perhaps there was an update in between. I'm not entirely sure. I'll try and find out. But yeah, we're just gonna end this video here and start off with the clean slate with the original plan that I set in place, where basically we're just gonna replay everything, skip through the parts that we can skip through, and just whenever a choice pops up, we're gonna go a different route than we did in our original playthrough. So yeah, that's our way of trying to find both just more general information about the entire aquarium, as well as trying to find the other true endings. So yeah, this is gonna be the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace!